Okay, everybody. This could be one of the deepest shows we're going to get into today that we've ever, if we're going to go beyond, we're going to go into parallel universes and all this kind of stuff. This is a great Mark Puttenvink.
Yeah.
He lives in, I know he lives in parallel universe because there's just no way one universe could encapsulate everything that Mark Puttenvink has to bring to the world. Right?
It's actually bubble universes. So you get a universe and then it's attached to another one. Yeah.
Yeah. Many worlds, I call it. Many worlds is one of the theories. All right.
There was that basketball player. What was his name? The basketball player that changed his name to All World or World something.
Oh, yeah.
That's
what was his name? Didn't he get in a big brawl or something?
It was Ron Artest. I forget what he changed his name to. Yeah.
Oh, that's right. We should change our names.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. This is great. Mark Puttenvik, Patriot Training Systems. He trains anything, anybody, aliens,
insects,
atoms, insects.
Yeah.
Anything in any universe, any parallel universe. He even trains like Google has this new chip out called Willow. It can do in 5 minutes what they say it takes septillion million years to do. Yeah. He can train that. He trained Willow.
Nothing, yeah. I produced that thing upstairs in the closet.
What's up, brother? How are you today?
Good, man. Good, yeah.
You like snow, especially when it snows, right? Nice outside, getting a little hike.
Well, we're supposed. I mean, you go by the phone. Apparently, we're supposed to get a significant amount of snow this week. Over the weekend, I think like Saturday, 10 inches or something like that.
Yeah, we're used to 10 inches, though, aren't we, big guy?
Yeah. Almost broke my knee.
That's pretty wide, actually.
Yeah.
All right. The Rangers made the big trade for JT Miller.
Yeah.
We'll see how that works out.
The guy can play, but you just wonder how that adds to an already disrupted room.
Yeah, well, that is the thing. And again, I admire it. You got to make a change. So I admire Drury for making it. But now the downside is that and this is I guess the advantage of making a trade with Vancouver, because a lot of people aren't following the media in Vancouver,
right?
Where you say, okay, so why is this great player, JT Miller, getting traded by Vancouver? Well, he was in a battle with one of his teammates, Peterson. And he left the team for a period of time. And you've seen videos of him going sulking on the end of the bench sometimes. So
Saturday I had a conversation. I won't mention any names, but somebody very high up in the NHL.
Yeah.
And the thing is, they say about him, he's got one speed.
Yes.
Like he starts screaming in the first period of guys. Guys like, dude, we got 40 minutes left. Relax.
Yeah.
And that wears thin on people. But maybe that's what that room needs.
You're right. It's either going to make them much better. They're going to wake up, or it's going to be
really bad.
Yeah. They're going to be guys like cowering in the corner, right?
Yeah. So, some guys won't come out of the shower.
Hold on. Here's a guy that lives in multiple universes right here. Barry Shelley. Barry Shelley.
I tell you what, man. That guy, what he does for hockey and for veterans,
I know.
He's just a really magical person.
Good person.
Really
he is, isn't he?
Yeah.
And when he does it too, it's like it's no big deal about it to him. He's just
and you know what? And that speaks volumes to his character. Like he's so humble. No, it's not me. It's not. No, it is you, Barry. You're doing great things.
I know.
Yeah.
He's one of those. And we're going to get into some talk about quantum physics and quantum computing and everything today, which is maybe a little bit above our pay grade. Although, you know what? That's not fair to say with you and I. We can always learn. We're always learning new things.
It's a tough one, though.
Yeah. So Barry's one of those things, though, one of these people that we may not see how great he is unless he was not in the world, right? It's almost like It's a Wonderful Life, the movie. If you go back and look and see if he wasn't around, the people that he affected. Yeah.
Well, you know what it is, too? He takes – I'm going to guess, and I think I'm probably right. He takes the approach that it's not what you see me doing, it's what you don't see me doing.
Yeah.
That's really –
Hold on. Talk about parallel universes. I hear Beth coming in the room.
Beth just walked in. Yeah, you're right.
Oh, God. Hold on. Is she going to walk by and put on a show for us? Remember Carol Alt used to walk around Madison Square Garden?
Yeah.
It was like same thing with Beth here on this podcast. Right?
Yeah. He's comparing you to Carol Alt walking around in the garden. She got a good laugh out of it.
Yep, same thing.
Walking around in the garden.
Carol's walk around. She wouldn't do anything. She'd just walk around. And
did she have a poop bag with her?
A poop bag?
Yeah, Carol.
You know what? She may have. She may have. Does Beth carry a poop bag?
Well, she just walked the dog. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Didn't know where maybe Beth, if she had to poop, she poops. Man,
no, it wasn't Beth. It was the dog. Yeah.
The dog poops. Okay. You know what I'd love to do? I don't know what I got this in my head now. That I'd love to get a ranch where we go to dog kennels and everything. Get dogs that are it sounds kind of morbid, but it's dogs that are going to pass away, and they're going to be there by themselves, and take them to a ranch that we have,
Yeah.
and
Show
just
the dogs.
be there
Oh,
with
that's
them.
cool.
Yeah,
I like that idea.
yeah, because
Yeah,
it's
like
like
it a lot.
okay, you don't want them to die, but if they're going to die, then
Make it easy. Like,
Yeah.
like
don't let them die alone, right?
I like that. Yeah.
Who is this here? Have we had this magical person, Mehan?
No. Well, good morning. Yeah.
Mehan Stavros. That's a cool name. I'm guessing Czech, something like that.
Greek with Stavros?
Greek.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like in the Greek. Yeah, the Greek. Yeah.
Good food.
Yes.
Healthy diet. Mediterranean diet.
Okay, we want to get onto the quantum physics and everything, but let me. Greek, yes. Mavron confirms. Greek. Hold on. Barry. Mercury.
Well, I don't think so, Barry, because I think I might be in Utah then.
Oh, it's going to Utah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. You're going to Utah. Again, I was going to say something bad about find another wife, but no. Man, it's Greek. Thank you very much.
Yeah, we were right.
Oh, good. Good food, right? The Greeks have really given us good food.
It's very healthy food.
Yeah,
that's the Mediterranean diet. A lot of olive oil, a lot of fish, a lot of real good.
Yeah, cool. Okay, so we're going to get on now. This is somewhat political, but okay. So if we go back to let's go back to when Trump, the first assassination attempt. So we've got an assassination attempt where multiple people were saying he's on the roof, he has a gun. They still put him up on stage. The second attempt, look at Carol. No, that's not Carol. It's Beth.
Keep saying Carol.
Better looking.
He says you're better looking, honey.
Oh my God! All right, forget it. I'm leaving you for him.
She's on the way to Connecticut now.
Perfect. So then we have the second attempt where supposedly some government agent had the opportunity to shoot the potential, but was 5 foot away and messed him with 5 or 6 shots. Now, I'm not trying to be critical of the boots on the ground, the Secret Service people and everything. All right. So now we fast forward. We've had a plane crash, a helicopter flying into a plane. We've had another plane crash in Philadelphia. We had a military plane crash up in Alaska. We've had the forest fires in California where the insurance companies were leaving because they're saying, guys, you're going to catch fire.
Those are regulations. Yeah.
What else can we put on that list?
Well, I mean, there's a lot. I think what it really shows to me, Tom, is that we rely on government like it's some kind of magical, and it's just really, it's the Wizard of Oz. They're just, they're people, they're dumb. Some of them are brighter than us. A lot of them are dumber than us.
Well, and I know you feel the same way too. It's not even to me, it's the smarter or dumber. It's what's their motivation, right?
Well, that's a big part of it. And the other thing too, when you have bureaucracy like anything else, when 20 people have to sign off on something, it delays everything. Things just don't get done. And like, look at the response to the East Palestine, Ohio. I mean, that's still, from Vance, I think is going there today actually. But like and again, we're not going to get political here, but the Biden administration was a year later they showed up. I mean, that's crazy.
It's all these things. Even I can add to the list. The New Orleans truck driver, the guy burning up the car in Vegas.
Yeah.
All these things you want. Like now we get to the point. I think it's healthy now to doubt everything. You need to just say, okay, I'm not just believing that they're saying this. And the problem is that all these things happen, as you've said, it has like a 3-day life cycle.
Yeah.
And now we move on to the next disaster. We hardly ever talk about the fires evermore in California. Like to me, if you want to be a terrorist, it'd be pretty easy to get with a Bic lighter and a box of papers to go in the middle of a forest. And, I don't know. Yeah.
So I think what you and I, we lose sight of the fact sometimes, and we have to return to it, that in a country this big, well, I think now it's like 350 million people. It's a lot of people.
Yeah.
There's going to be some bad actors. The difference is that if it fits a good story, like if it has to do with politics somehow, or has to, like with terrorism, it's going to get tremendous coverage. So,
but then you wonder with the media, I guess like they don't want to pursue it. Like, why are we not discussing the potential of terrorism for the fires? why are we not discussing the potential of terrorism? Well, they're calling it domestic terrorism for the guy driving the truck in New Orleans, but what's it connected to, right? It's just like,
Right.
okay, it's like they don't want to open that can of worms. They don't want us thinking that way, right?
Yeah, and I think what also makes us feel that we're not being told the truth is that it's I forget how many years now, so probably 65 years since John Kennedy was assassinated, and they still won't tell us what happened.
Yeah, totally. Or the drones in New Jersey.
Yeah, all of a sudden that's
Yeah, it was
no
like
big deal.
the explanation was like, well, they can come back later on and say we didn't lie to you because they left it so vague
Yeah.
that it could have been anything,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. So but getting back to like Beth was saying before, you know what, we need to detach from the newspaper and the news.
Yeah.
Because and like even some of the stuff I teach people how to defend against a knife attack.
Sure.
What are the odds of that really ever happening to them? Like, not going to happen.
Yeah.
But you still teach it. People still
Oh.
want to learn it.
Yeah. Sure. You should be prepared. Yeah. I agree totally.
Yeah, no, I understand that part of
Yeah.
being prepared, but you know what I'm saying? The reality of it ever really occurring,
Yeah.
you'd have to go out of your way to have it happen to you. I mean, that could happen just randomly, but pretty hard to.
Right.
Just don't go down that alley you're not supposed to.
This was interesting too. There's a rumor going around that we both picked up on where this Joe Ellen.
Yeah,
was a
apparently.
It was not her.
Yeah, apparently that was a rumor, but then again, it goes back to what we're relying on what they're telling us.
Right.
So,
It's interesting. Did you see her? She sent out on Facebook a proof of life video, but also she added to it that no National Guard members were associated. Like it's almost like she added this. Like, why did you add that? I guess because she was in the National Guard.
I guess the fact that she was trans wasn't really the big thing. The fact that apparently on her social media was a lot of anti-Trump rhetoric.
Well, and then he came up with the DEI stuff right away.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So again, but that video with AI now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Who knows what? And then when
Yeah.
they delayed naming the actual woman
I mean, that person may not even exist. I don't know.
Right.
It's like,
and then when they delayed it, it's like, okay, why did you delay it? Like it's now again, the family was saying they didn't want to release the name. So
clearly either someone screwed up horrendously, with that accident.
well, because if accurate, they're saying that the helicopter wasn't supposed to fly above 200 feet. And it was
So
at
there was
300 or above, right?
But also there was a lack of staffing in the tower.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be 3 people. It was one.
Right.
One person. And
Wow.
trying to communicate to the chopper and the
then
flight at the same time.
And I watched this when it actually first happened on Fox News. They had a pilot, a Black Hawk pilot, who said there was no black boxes on those helicopters.
And
Now they're saying they've found a black box. So now they're going to create, who knows?
And again, it's all perspective. I mean, the Philadelphia videos, when you watch them, man, it looks like a missile.
Yeah, like and again, they could have been doctored, but the engines were still revving up as it was going down.
Which is I don't know the mechanics behind it all. But I would assume though that something that goes up that fast can come down that fast if they lose everything.
And it's got those oxygen tanks on it because it was a medevac.
Yeah, they found one like a quarter mile away from the
Magical Deborah Anderson here. Yeah, I mean that's the thing. It's just there's so many. And then now we're not going to hear anything about it. Probably it's going to have its.
That's it. We're done with that story.
Yeah.
But it was kind of ironic to see the mayor come out, the Philadelphia mayor, and like we're supposed to take her seriously now.
Oh, why?
Well, remember her cheering on the Eagles?
That's right. She was the same one. I forgot about that. The
EGLSES.
I forgot all about that.
It wasn't like you had to spell pterodactyl. You had to spell Eagles. It's not
that's funny.
Then I got to give her the benefit of doubt. Like it's like you sit home and you watch a game show and you go, how do you not know that answer?
I know.
When you're up there, your brain just blanks out.
She's probably not talking about sports very often.
Right. Yeah.
Let me see here. So, Danny.
By the way, here's my prediction for Sunday. Ready?
Okay.
34-28 Eagles.
34-28 Eagles?
Yep. That's what I'm going with.
I just have such a hard time going against Travis. What's his name?
Oh no, I know.
Yeah.
But every dog has his day, right?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, Philly's got a great defense. They just seem like they're like men playing with boys kind of thing. They're a hard.
Saquon Barkley's just.
Oh, I know.
He is in a different universe.
Yeah. Now, you guys have a party festival, any place like that?
Yeah, well, it depends on the weather. We're supposed to get snowed in, so. I don't know.
Oh,
We usually go by our brother's house, and he
Oh,
makes
okay.
dinner. Yeah.
Good. So basically, you're kind of a freeloader with the brother. Is that?
Oh yeah.
He's got lots of money.
No, he's a great guy.
Yeah, I'm just kidding.
Puts on a good spread. There's only one thing better than food, and that's free food.
No kidding. Now, are you a chicken wing kind of guy?
Yeah, I'm more of a I like steak.
We like steak, yes.
Yeah.
Would you go in one of those diets, like what do they call it, the carnivore diet now?
Well, I just got a book yesterday. Paul Saladino, I'm probably pronouncing it. Young guy, totally ripped. He's an MD. And, Joe Rogan's the first one I heard talking about the carnivore diet. And that book I sent you too, I don't know if you got to read the preface and introduction. And that kind of really drives home the fact that, man, we're doing something wrong in this country.
Yeah.
Because, it's a book I sent Tom that has to do with nourishment and going against what we've been fed all these years as to what we're supposed to eat. And yet we're the sickest we've ever been. I mean, cardiovascular disease and cancer didn't exist at the turn of the century.
Yeah.
It was really rare.
I know. It's so
now 1 out of 3 people die of cancer. So
I know. There's some people that think, well, if you get cancer, you should leave it alone because the cancer's contained itself in the tumor or whatever. But I don't want to. That's far beyond. Bruce Levine. Let me see here in the heart of Alamo. Yes, Alamo, Texas. Alamo Ranch.
I think it's 80. Bruce, are you really getting warm weather today? Because I saw I think Dallas is going to be 82 today. They got a warm spell down there.
Oh, hold on. He's coming with some solid information here too. There's one black box on the Black Hawk that recorded, and there's a man that knows. There's a veteran.
Okay,
he was a veteran pilot too, wasn't he? I think Bruce was a pilot as well.
I don't know.
Yeah,
okay, that makes sense. Yeah, you would kind of think a Black Hawk would have a black box.
Because I guess some of the other stuff, like there's that detection technology too. If you're coming close to somebody or whatever. There's all these stories about that. Supposedly the tower told him, said, "Do you have your eyes on this plane?" And then there's others multiple.
They were wearing night vision too, which
and they go back and forth on that. They're saying they had it, but were they using it? They don't.
But why would you use it if you can't see? It's called night vision. You're supposed to see.
And there's so many lights out there too. It's not like you're in the middle of the desert someplace, right?
I mean, it's like driving down a highway and you got lights coming at you.
Yeah.
But that's why they rely on the traffic controller so much.
Yeah. I think Trump's comments and Denmark president immediately started negotiating.
Yeah, that's an interesting thing too, because I was listening to I think JD Vance talk about it yesterday. Strategically, we really need to be there.
Greenland.
And the people in Greenland are not happy with the Danes. I guess the Danes just aren't really financially supporting them to the level they need, and we can. And I think everybody goes flying off the handle like we're Roman Empire invading another. No, it's not what it is. We're not. It's not going to become part of the United States. We have territories. We have Guam as a territory. We have a whole bunch of territories. Puerto Rico's a territory.
Yeah. There's something I was thinking about too with the Gulf of Mexico. We call it the Gulf of America now. There's another. Here's another one too. The word is out now that Beyonce is trans. She's a trans musician.
That was a good operation. That worked out well.
No, because she's a pop star. All of a sudden, she wants to win a
country
Grammy.
Star.
So she becomes a country star, so she can win a Grammy. Like,
I know.
how does she win a Grammy?
Again, this is another glaring reason not to watch television.
Oh, no kidding! What a bunch of freaks on that show.
Oof.
Like, do you see Will Smith's kids? No, I know the kids. I should be careful, but one was dressed up as he had a box on his head. You see that?
Yeah, I might have done that though.
Good point. Yeah, maybe smoking some ganja or something like that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm going to take to my deathbed. I don't get Snoop and Martha Stewart, that whole hookup thing.
Oh, I know. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Are they really? Do you think they're doing?
No, but just them being friends is enough to set
I know.
fire alarm.
Maybe that they're smart marketing people. They're thinking nobody's going to figure that out. Yeah.
She has an interesting biography we watched. It was on either, I think it was Netflix or Amazon, but she's had an interesting life, Martha Stewart.
Martha has?
Yeah, she's a pretty tough person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So Danny brings up, so there's a game, Minnesota was playing somebody, Ottawa.
Yes, I saw that.
They booed them. Well, what they don't understand I saw a documentary on this where each country in NATO, right? Is it NATO? Was
Yes.
had pledged to commit
2%.
2% of their
Yeah.
gross domestic product would go towards their defense system.
Mhm.
Canada has never met that threshold,
Right.
and don't expect to meet it until possibly 2030.
Right.
So Trump is saying, why are we paying all this money to defend you?
Yeah.
And our trade imbalance, like we're bringing in all your lumber products and cars. We could do it here. We don't need to get you.
Yeah, no, he's right. And the nations in Europe aren't like,
Yeah.
they put in like 1.2, 1.5%. And it is really more about Europe than it is the United States
Right.
we're protecting.
Yeah, the United States, last I looked it up, is like 2.3% of the gross domestic product. And obviously our GDP is so much higher.
And
They're-
in addition to it, you know, I mean, the front is there. It's not here. Like Russia and Ukraine's in their backyard. So they
Right.
better. So, you know, how do you feel? What's your thoughts as a Canadian with the tariff, the 25% tariff?
Well, I'm assuming there has been some discussions in the back. Like we
Yeah.
need to clean things up here. We need to
Mhm.
change our trade deficit. We need to change this whole defense system thing. If you don't do it, we're going to have to make some moves. I'm
Mhm.
assuming he's given Trudeau some advance warning.
Well,
And
that's
Trudeau's just more worried about smoking pot. And,
right. I wonder if, excuse me, I wonder if the the tariff is more about Trudeau than it is. I mean, he's got to factor into it.
well, yeah, and he's stepping down in a few months, right? He's
Yeah,
leaving.
I thought it was immediate, but I guess
Right.
What's
So
the
it's
new
like-
guy, Pierre Poilievre or something?
Yeah, he's pretty good. He's got some great
Yeah,
press conferences.
yeah.
too, yeah.
He's more of a Trump guy, isn't he?
Yep. More like
Yeah.
that. Like he just doesn't go along with what everybody
So
says.
that's what I'm wondering if this is Trump's like last slap
Screw
across
you.
the face to Trudeau.
Right. So he's put on a 25% tariff on Canada and Mexico and
Yeah.
10% on China.
And the Canadian tariff varies on products. So like fuel oil is only 10%.
Oh,
Yeah. Cars, I forget what was the percentage. So they said this morning the average car will go up $3,000 with the tariff if it's manufactured in Canada.
Right.
What does that mean? Trump's saying, well, then why are we not manufacturing here in the United
Yeah.
States?
yeah, because they're losing all those jobs in Detroit and everything like that. Because
Because when-
we don't have to do it in Canada. It's almost like we're doing them a favor.
Correct.
Yeah.
I think Windsor has Ford, or they got a couple plants up there. Right?
Yeah. A lot of strip joints there too. That's Sin City.
Cheetah,
right there.
Cheetah Club.
Cheetah.
Yeah,
What if they could ever like put like tariffs on strippers or something like that? Like
they should. I mean, they're
Right.
pulling dough. Yeah.
that's an industry they should legislate too. Like that whole sex, that
Well, I think they do only in the sense that like what you can do, and it varies, right? I mean, everywhere's Montreal's different than.
Yeah. Well, and Eric, what is it? Vegas? They're allowed to do they have the massage parlors and everything like that, or the
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
hooker houses.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's like
I-
they have.
again-
And in a serious note, they're worried about like all the sex trade and everything like that.
Right.
They
Yeah.
So
it's
legalize
it's a
because that is never going to stop. Like
it's all mob controlled. It's,
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
It's not a good thing when
Yeah.
you really think about it at all.
Yeah.
So I did have again, I won't use the name. I forget we were out in Phoenix or somewhere. Swedish kid. He goes, "Hey Mark, where can I go for one of those rub and tub?"
Who said that?
I won't name his name.
Oh,
one
okay.
of the guys, Swedish kid.
Rubber dog. Everybody knows it's a rugged pug made
Yeah.
famous by what's his name in the movie A Miracle on Ice or Miracle. What was it?
Oh, yeah, Miracle, right?
No, it was Mystery Alaska.
Oh, Mystery Alaska.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a good movie.
Yeah, I like that movie.
And
Yeah,
that was the Rangers, right? They went up to play.
Yep. Yeah.
That was a good movie.
Uh,
Yeah, that was that guy Ron Elhart,
it
Elhart,
was the
the
Canadian
blonde
guy.
dude.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't realize this. So Bruce is telling us that there's a 1 month delay for Mexico. I guess because they've caved a little bit here.
Yeah,
Agreed to send national
It's-
guards to the border. See, and that's another
that's
issue
the
all about
thing,
the border
yeah.
stuff.
I imagine that's going this tariff as it relates to Mexico and Canada. I don't know about China. It's gonna be short lived.
Yeah. But what people forget with Trump, he's different in politicians than politicians in a lot of ways. One of them is he's a businessman. So whenever he's saying something, it's a negotiation, right? He's setting
Yeah.
them up, and everybody knows that's the way he does things. So everybody they have to do what they need to do publicly to save face and everything. But behind the scenes, they're negotiating a deal. So
You know, and if you look at it, all the other stuff that's going on, like firing a lot of people in the DOJ and the FBI. And really, it gets back to you and I were talking earlier before we got on about the bureaucracies. Like nothing gets, and it's the same thing in the military. Anybody who served would back me up on this. The higher up you go, and when you get the 3- and 4-star general, they're no longer military guys. They're bureaucrats. Yeah, they're at all the
case in point. $50 million for condoms going to Hamas. It's like,
I think that might have been disproven, but.
Oh, really? Oh,
yeah, but there's a whole bunch of other stuff that.
But what's her name? The press secretary said that was she got up and said that.
I don't know. Again, I may be off, but I heard, but there was some pushback on that. But they did send like a ton of money to South America for, stuff that's just has nothing to do with us.
Right.
It has nothing to do with anything other than their ideology.
Well, and Zelensky's saying in Ukraine that there was supposed to be 170 million roughly sent to Ukraine, 170 billion, excuse me, and he only received. They say they only received about 70 billion.
Right.
So there's $100 billion.
So
they went to the joint. They go to the massage parlor with that? Or?
Yeah, it's very expensive over
there.
Yeah. I don't know. Look, it'd be hard to believe that all that money was well spent.
Well, yeah, and maybe he's not telling the truth either. But I mean, if it is true,
and I don't, here's the thing with that too. It's like money goes all. It's amazing when you really find out. Like right now, Trump cut off money to South Africa.
Yes, I saw that.
I didn't even know we were sending them money.
I know.
Why do we send money to Africa? How about I get a little bit here?
Well, but isn't that the truth? If that's a great point. If you add up all the monies like that are sent to places we don't even know about, we'd all be going like, what is? There'd be like trillions of dollars showing up.
Well, so I think the problem is that China has that roads and belts and roads thing. So what essentially they're doing, they're going into really poor countries in South America and Africa and say, hey, we'll build your highways, we'll do all this, and then we own you. It's like dealing with the mob, really.
Well, that is why people say, well, why are we sending money to other countries at all? Well, if we don't do it, then other countries will send it to them, and they'll be beholden to them.
So that part I get.
Yeah.
But it's just amazing when you find out, like, countries
Musk is a major pot consumer. I'm assuming he means marijuana.
Weed,
like the Cybertruck he designed. The ugliest.
Yeah, that is a pretty rough looking thing. Yeah, well, he was on Joe Rogan smoking weed with him like the whole.
Yeah. And I love Joe Rogan. I love Sean Ryan. That Vaughn, what's his name? Theo Vaughn. They're great, but we do need to remember they're business. Yeah, they're doing it to make money, which that's fine. Yeah. But we can't just believe everything they say just because they have a face value. Yeah. There's this one guy. I know we talked about it before. He has created. I've deleted everything I can about him. He's this guy coming on saying this is the number one thing. I can't remember his name.
Yeah, I remember you pointing him out.
Yeah,
and I said to you, it doesn't sound right.
Oh yeah, he must have some money behind him because now he looks like he's really catching on. He was on Sean Ryan. Mm-hmm. I felt like going, Sean. But again, Sean's probably got him on because there's some financial incentive.
It's going to get eyes.
Yeah, but then you kind of lose credibility after a while, like you're Sean Ryan. And Sean's got to be careful with that too.
Yeah, I think overall he does a great job. I mean,
but there's another thing. He had the big thing about the Tesla driver that's died. Right.
That story went away. I think in some ways I look at like the podcast guys almost like the TV evangelists.
Yeah.
In the sense that then you find out,
the
guy was in a room with a hooker.
Yeah, I know.
What was his name?
The TV guy, the evangelist?
From down south, the evangelist. Yeah. His cousin's with Jerry Lee Lewis. What's his name?
The dark-haired guy.
Swagger.
Yeah.
Swagger.
That's right.
Yeah, and he would do the old choking a chicken with the like just weird stuff, and of course I had to say his favorite holiday is Palm Sunday apparently.
Very nice, very nice. Ironic that later today, Trump will host the Florida Panthers. I wonder if there would be Canadian players boycotting. Oh, that's right. Must be a Canadian import.
It's the whole tariff thing too, and this is why I'm wondering this morning. And I only follow the markets just because it's fun to watch.
Yeah.
At the beginning of the morning, market was down like over 600 points.
Oh.
Now it's only down. Last time it was like 100. It's still down, but it's much less, like 130 or something.
Do you know there's actually an app where you can invest? Yeah. And you can invest, they automatically invest
Yeah.
your money along with Nancy Pelosi's money because she's like,
65% return she had.
right.
65%.
You know what the funny thing is, too? Everybody knows it's out there. She could care less.
She could care less.
Right.
She's eating that $12 pint. Remember when she's going through her freezer and this $12 a pint.
I know.
That's nice. Yeah.
Like it used to be they try to hide stuff like that. Now it's like, why bother? Because we have the media in our back pocket too. So
the truth is, she would step right over you and I if we were on the ground.
Oh,
and
totally.
she had a bucket of water and we were on fire. She'd just keep walking.
Totally. Oh God, what? Imagine being married. Imagine having to sleep next to
That's
them.
frightening. Yeah.
God, like she takes all the makeup off. Okay, so she would take all that makeup off, and then would she cream up and everything like that, or like?
No, but you know who's under there?
Oh, imagine the smell at the Grammys too. All that makeup and perfume and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I'm allergic to that stuff, to be honest.
Oh, I know. Oh man, that smell. Oh, how about is it? Who's the guy's wife who's short? They had to get rid of P Diddy, or is it P? No.
I didn't see the whole show. I watched a few minutes. I just
they had to get the police to throw that one couple out.
Really?
Yeah.
What were they doing?
She short, like she had barely nothing on. Like it was.
Was it Beyonce? There was something in it.
It was somebody will pop it up here.
Yeah. We're Susan Brooks. We need her.
Yeah, she will. Somebody, Kanye West and his girl. Thanks, Deb.
Oh,
but
I didn't see it. But.
If you look at the first picture, it looks like she's naked. She's got like this see-through.
Oh, like onesie kind of thing.
And she makes a habit of doing that too. It's like you. Well, what am I talking about? You're like that too. You walk around with no shirt on.
Yeah. Later on, when it's too warm out, I don't wait a while.
Too warm right now. Yeah. Her dress was Stacy. Yes, it was, Deb. It wasn't even. Like I said, when you first looked at it, you didn't know she had a dress on. Really, it was like that kind of stuff.
Yeah, they can't. I think they're trying to find new limits.
Yeah.
To bring it to, because the guys from the Red Hot Chili Peppers, they're like our age, but they came out. It was Anthony Kiedis, whatever his name is, and he was wearing some kind of white and red suit, like.
Right.
But it looked like I can't even describe it. But he's a rock and roll dude. I mean,
like if you, like I went online to the USA Today, for example, I find that I don't believe everything, but it's a good source of overall news. Mm-hmm. And like there must have been 25 articles about the Grammys. Like I don't believe that the most of the people in the country really care that much about the Grammys. I think it's almost like we're fed it so much from the media that it becomes
all these shows. I mean, who won the Best Picture last year?
I know.
And
all this other stuff going on in our world. And now they want us to pay attention to the freaking Grammys, a bunch of freak shows.
Yeah. You know, they live in their own bubble.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
It's really for them more than it is for us.
Yeah.
They're giving awards to each other, Tom.
I know. Yeah. And then it's like, I like the fake hugs too. Like they really like each other. They hate each other. Yeah.
And then what really kills me, this is something that I've noticed for years, even when I was a little kid. You got actors, right?
Yeah.
Who read off a script and could be any part. They're very talented people. They really are. But they get out there, like, you know, to announce the winner of, and they talk like it's an 8th grade talent show. Like they can't read the thing. You know, it's like, come on. Really?
Oh, God. Let me see here. What do we got? Susan's here. She's in the house. I was at the Rangers game. That's right. Happy to Jonathan Quick.
Yeah,
400. Congratulations to him. Thank you, Susan, for bringing that up. 400. That's I'll tell you what, you watch him speak to, he's all about team. It's all about, he's got to be a little bit, because that,
I mean, I think originally that's why they brought him in. They didn't, I don't think the expectations at that point were for him to play as well as he has.
Right. So I think they're hoping that, but still,
you're
right. Bonus. He's exceeded expectations from a playing standpoint. You're right.
Yeah. I think they brought him to be in the room and kind of bring Shesterkin.
Now, you'll probably know this too, but let's do a little trivia question. Who is his father-in-law?
That I don't know.
Former Ranger Mike Backman.
Oh, Connecticut. That's right.
Yeah, that's right.
Mike's an American, right?
Mike is Canadian, actually.
But he ended up staying in Connecticut, I think.
Yeah, he's kind of like the godfather of coaching around this area now. He's coached for so long. Yeah. Yes, he's made a living at it. Mike's funny. He's funny too. He's coached for so long too. I said, "So what do you do with the parents?" Looks at me, goes, "I don't talk to parents."
Yeah, he was. This is, oh my God. Sean was a baby. This was like 30 years ago or more. We played. A bunch of us played the Ranger alumni for a fundraiser. I forgot what it was. So it was him. It was Marcel Dion, Gresh played, and all those guys. Andre Dore. But we had a guy on our team that played like club, like adult senior or whatever. Canadian dude. Couldn't really skate, but he was crazy. And at the end of the first period, he two hands Nicky.
Oh, I think you told me the story. Yeah.
And then my friend Anthony Musto, who's actually a goaltender, but he was skating out. Second period, he gets behind the net, and Nicky just smokes him. He's going, "No, you want number 8. I'm number 10."
Oh, that's funny. Funny stuff. It's in the Grammys. JT Miller. Okay. We touched on this earlier, Danny, but because you were late, I mean, we started early, so we'll give you been there, done that. Grammys mean nothing now. All I do is, so JT Miller, it's one of those trades where it could be a fantastic move. He's still got the move. He's got 5 years left on his contract. Great player, but he is not, as Ray Ferraro put it on the weekend, he's not a wallflower. Like, he speaks his mind, which could be a fantastic thing, or people could get just scared to death. And
you wonder if Drury gave him 5 years because Drury figured I'm not going to be here in 5 years anyway. So,
well, he's got 5 years left on an existing contract he'd already signed.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, yeah. Well, and listen, people it's a great comment, maybe, like when GMs make decisions, they're thinking, am I going to be here in 5 years? Right. So when they sign with long 8-year contracts, most GMs will say, because it's just factual, they'll say, well, I'm probably not going to be here at the end of that contract anyways. So somebody else has to deal with it. And it is true, like, and even in Chris Drury, it's been easier for him to trade early draft picks. So they traded a second overall pick, Capo Caco. Traded Heedle, was like 6 overall pick, something like that.
Yeah.
So normally a GM would not do that if they're the ones that had picked those players. So at least they would wait longer, give more of an opportunity. But Drury didn't. He had no time.
Heedle's talented, but he's one hit away.
I know. And you know what? He was to stay healthy. Man, he's a good player. He could really,
wow.
Yeah. So basically for Vancouver, they got the first round draft pick. Is the big thing.
And Miller already, I mean, Zibanejad had 3 points. Yep. So maybe it's going to take the pressure off of him, and he can start to be more productive.
Well, yeah, just to be more, have somebody in the locker room that's more, and again, not being in the locker room, but the locker room is a really important place, and that it kind of sets the tone.
Most important thing.
Yeah. And if Miller, it seems, is that kind of guy that you better be engaged in the game, or I'm going to say something to you, kind of guy. Yeah. And that's important too.
You need that guy.
Yep. Okay. So
here we go.
You were one of the people that has taught me so much, learning to learn. So now I get on YouTube and I started, Joe Rogan has lots of stuff and everything, but we get into the world of quantum physics, quantum computing, quantum mechanics. So my take on the whole quantum world, so quantum computing, for example. So Google has developed a chip called Willow that supposedly can do in 5 minutes what the classic computers, as they call it, it would take them septillion millions of years. It's like
never happened.
Yeah, never happened. In fact, they're saying now that they've shut down Willow because they're kind of scared of what they're getting back. And this is some of the reports. Again, who knows how true this is, but some of the reports, they're getting like hieroglyphic messages responding to them, like they see in caves from millions of years ago. So, and it's interesting. It kind of opens up the door now to the discussion about parallel universes, because I guess in a standard computer, a classic computer, there's bits. The bit is either a 0 bit or it's a 1 bit, one or the other. In quantum computing, it's qubits, and they could be a 0, they could be a 1, or they could be both. And what a big thing with quantum computing is when they're asked a question, they analyze the millions of potential scenarios or universes. So you could be at 5 years old, you go left instead of going right. And then all the variations of that. So now the computer now takes all those different variations and gives you a determination what is the right direction for you to go.
Right.
It's it kind of opens up the door that, well, yeah, parallel universes have to be real almost. Is that?
So quantum mechanics is a very difficult thing for me to understand. I've tried, like you have watched YouTube, read some stuff. The big thing is what they call dual entanglement, where you can have an atom spinning in a certain direction here and an atom spinning like past Mars, and somehow they're connected.
Yes.
Somehow they're connected. And that's where the speed of processing is based upon with these quantum computers. Yeah, we're real close. I read a book years ago called "The Singularity is Near." Singularity means the melding of man and machine. It was written by Ray Kurzweil, who's a futurist that actually the Department of Defense hired this
Hold
guy.
on. I got to analyze something here.
Yeah.
So, are you pulling that out of your rear end?
No, I read the
and I
book.
mean that's a compliment to you. Like to be able to come up with that name of a book that you read years ago that was written by that guy. I mean, I could read a book in like 5 minutes, and I can't tell you who read it, who wrote
Well, I can tell you this: I'm good at certain things, and I'm really horrible at many more.
Yeah.
But it was interesting because he laid out the case with, in particular, nanotechnology, which is like putting actual computers in our bodies, like microscopic computers. And if you think about it, they're already working on some stuff that'll attack cancer cells and stuff like that.
Right.
But in particular, he's talking about computers that, and it's coming to fruition, and it's pretty much now that, like with DeepSeek and all these AIs, that they have all the knowledge, learned knowledge on the entire planet from the beginning of time that we're aware of. So it's kind of frightening because, like,
Well, that is the next subject. Like a lot of people are thinking, oh, let's put the brakes on it here.
Yeah.
Like even they had Rogan had on Musk, and he was talking about he was buddies with the head guy at Google, who's really big into it.
Yeah, I guess.
Quantum
Patel was his name.
Right. And Musk was saying to him, okay, but we need to have this somehow controlled or like, because we just can't let it run rampant. And the guy was like, no, we just need to go. And Musk.
I'm going to go back a few years ago, probably 4 or 5 years ago. Facebook, Meta, whatever the company is now, was trying out using bots. Like, I don't know exactly what they were doing with these bots, but then the bots started to talk to each other. And they got nervous and they shut it down.
Oh yeah, well that's what they're saying. What's happened with this Willow, this chip that Google has developed, that it's going in places where they're going like, oh my god, like what is happening here? Like we just did, which is interesting, right? So we can make a computer that now starts bettering itself, right, to the point where we might not be able to control it.
Won't be able to stop it.
Right, because that's the scary. I mean, look at the movies. You know, movies.
Well, the Terminator, Arnold, that movie was based upon machines took over, and it's a concern for sure. I mean, just think of how our lives have changed just since Facebook, right? Yeah. You know, how many times does it? You're on the phone with your son and you're talking about Maverick, and all of a sudden you look at your Facebook page, you got all these dog food commercials coming up.
Yeah. Well, so
kind of weird.
When did computers start? You go back in the 90s, 1990s. Computers.
Well, no. Well, when we started using them, when people. Yeah, that's when the first PC, what they call personal computers.
Right.
And it was basically for business.
40 years that the average person has access to a computer. And look at the developments in our world since then with the cell phones and travel, electric cars, all that stuff.
And one of the things I do remember reading in Kurzweil's book is that computational power doubles every year. So whatever computer you have now, 2 years from now, that newer computer will have double of what you currently have.
Right.
Computational power. It's concerning. I mean,
well, what is fascinating. So even when it really gets into the discussion about death or whether you even die, like maybe there's the potential with these parallel universes that we could live in a different universe every day or every minute, but we won't know it because you only live in that universe that you're in. So you won't know that I was in another universe. Like we've talked about this before. So when we were younger, I remember a time that you told me stories about yourself where I dove into a pool head first, didn't realize how shallow it was. When I landed, I felt like I broke my neck.
Right.
But I didn't break my neck. Now in another universe,
you did.
I broke my neck.
Right. Yeah.
So
that's and if you think of you were talking before about binary zeros and ones.
Yeah.
That was the old thinking that maybe the universe is everything's zeros and ones, everything's information.
Right.
Like the universe is just information.
Right.
And now it goes to another level when we talk about qubits. And it's even, if you really study all this stuff, the Fibonacci sequence. Fibonacci was an Italian mathematician.
Oh, you know what? You turned me on when you said it. Say Fibonacci one more time.
Fibonacci one more time. Anyway, so if you take 1 and you add it to 3, right? I'm sorry, take 1 and you add it to 2, you get 3. If you take 3, you add it to 2, you get 5. If you take 5, you add it to 3, you get 8. So that sequence continues, and it's in nature. So if you look at a flower,
Yes.
it either has 3, 5, 8.
Oh, this, yeah.
That many leaves, and then there's also the Mandelbrot. Yeah,
The what?
I don't want to get too nerdy here.
What?
I don't want to ruin my reputation. It's called the Mandelbrot equation. So, like, they never were able to accurately measure a coastline because of all the different crooks and crannies. And the Mandelbrot is an equation. Remember Paisley shirts?
Yeah.
It kind of looks like that. And it just keeps repeating. Like when you look at it and you look at it, it just, and that's what they use that now in quantum computers. And I think even before that, to be able to accurately use that equation to measure coastline and a whole bunch of other stuff. Yeah.
I know, it's amazing, right? Well, it's like, and it's part of it is like opening up our minds to the potential that we wouldn't even be able to comprehend. Like in our minds, we think there always needs to be a starting point someplace. So, like in religion, let's say God started everything. Well, I would say, well, where'd God come from? Or if it's Big Bang Theory, it started as tiny atom or whatever, as tiny particle. Well, where'd that come from? But
yeah, there's a lot of things that we can't wrap. We're not equipped.
Right.
We don't have that.
Yeah. So then they say, well, there isn't necessarily a starting point. And if you were to open up your mind, like even the creation of the pyramids and the Sphinx and all that kind of stuff, where like, how did that happen? Like, it's like, we just don't, they wouldn't have, there's question, well, we'd have the technology now, but how did they have the technology when they claim it was built, right? So,
And you know, it gets back to also like Atlantis. It may have been seriously civilizations that are no longer here that were way more advanced than we are now.
Well, it almost leads you to the point where it has to be that way, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Huh. Very cool stuff. Very cool stuff. Like the whole quantum thing, that really, when I start going down, you start going down that rabbit hole though, the potentials for that, like, you know, it makes you think. Like again, the big thing for me was when they started talking about how the quantum computers now basically go back and research all the parallel universes that are potential part of the answer of whatever question the computer's asked. Well, then you think to yourself, well, then there has to be parallel universes. It just can't be other way. Huh. Yeah.
I just and I hope that there at least one of those universes, the Jets can find a quarterback.
Well, they claim they've got their coach. We'll see what happens with that.
You got to have players, man. You could be the best coach in the world.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's the thing. So if you're this guy coming in, what's his name? The coach of the Jets?
Aaron Glenn.
Yeah. So he's going to want to be the boss, right? And I don't blame him. You're coming in as a head coach. It's got to be clear. I'm the boss. Yeah. No question about it. Problem with you keep Aaron Rodgers.
He's got to go. That guy, it's all about him.
Yeah. Like if I'm Aaron Glenn, I can sit down and say, listen, Aaron Rodgers, if you want to be here, I'd love to have you, but it's clear you have to let me be the boss. Yeah, now you can say yes to that, but even if you get the season and they get in a 5-game losing streak, Aaron Rodgers is going to do whatever he wants to do.
He clearly, for whatever reason, I don't know what the reason was, he did not like Robert Saleh. That's clear.
Yeah.
Right. With that whole sideline interaction.
Oh, I know. Yeah, which I thought was nothing at the time, but apparently that's a good point. Yeah.
I mean, I kind of get his view. Listen, you're a head coach. Act like a head coach and not a cheerleader.
Yeah. Yeah. Totally. Quantum physics. What else have I been really getting into, like the whole universe and all that kind of stuff like that? Neil deGrasse, what's his name?
Tyson deGrasse.
Tyson, yeah. He's very interesting. But again, it's one of those guys, like the way he speaks is like, this is the word. But is he really accurate? Like he's talking.
Yeah. Reality becomes reality when it's reality. You know, there's a lot of you can think.
Yeah, very cool though. Very cool. So you're picking Philly to win?
Yeah, it's gonna be 34-28.
All right, then just to go against you, then I'll have to pick Kansas City.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's going to be as high scoring as people think.
Probably not. No.
So I'm going to go with 28-24 Kansas City.
Did you ever notice that the first half of the football game was really quick, and the second half takes forever?
No.
Yeah.
Do you think it does?
Yeah, maybe it's just me, but yeah.
Oh. Okay. We get some comments on our boy here. He's a clown.
Yeah. There's a lot of people don't care for him. Degrassi. Yeah.
Because he does speak in a way that like he's smarter than, and he wants to show you how much smarter that he is than everybody else.
But he's got some stuff that's kind of questionable.
Oh, Brendan doesn't like him either.
Yeah, no, Brendan's on point with that. He knows his stuff.
Yeah. There's okay. And now here's another thing too. I go through this from time to time. We get so stuck in this. We're told that life is a certain way.
Right.
So we've talked about this before. So the when we say the sun rises and sets, right? Well, it doesn't rise and set. It's our the sun doesn't go anywhere. It's our view. It's our view of the sun that changes, right? Or we say that it's the weekend. Well, Saturday and Sunday are the weekend. Well, why aren't they the week start? Why?
So yeah, there was a motivational speaker, Zig Ziglar. He was an ex-IBM guy, but he became very famous as a motivational speaker. And he said, we live in our jargon is very negative. Like if I ask you for directions, you're gonna say, hey, listen, go to the second stoplight, make a right-hand turn.
Yeah.
So Ziegler says it's a go light too.
Yeah, totally. It's 50% a go light, 50% of
No,
well, I guess
30%.
Yes, good point.
Yellow. Yeah.
Good point.
But 33.
Yeah.
And but yeah, and he put out like something by the time a child's 18, they've heard no.
Yeah.
Like
Totally.
tens of thousands of times.
And like who made up the rules that you have to work 5 days a week? Like where did that come from? And now we automatically just say, well, I'm supposed to work 5 days a week. This is the job I have.
It was 6 days originally, right? In the Bible, you work 6 and 7 you take off.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then like who decided that at 65, I work till I'm 65, then I retire? Like who makes up these rules?
Oh, because people used to die when they were 63.
Right. So work until you
got to work till you're dead.
Yeah. But it is, don't you think, like there's all these things that we just we get up in the morning and say, okay, this is just
I think most of it has to do with how, going around the sun. So that's a year. And also the revolution, the revolving of the planet is 24-hour cycle. But again, it's kind of arbitrary because we're basically on a 60-minute. Why is an hour not 30 minutes?
Yeah. And then even like we really isn't 12 months, our calendar is longer than 12 months, right? Because there's some logic to that or whatever. I can't remember what it was. Right. And Danny brings up a good point. The foul pole is the fair pole.
It's fair pole. Yeah.
But it's like, I guess and I know you're saying the same, but it's like we get stuck in these ruts where everybody else is telling us how we're supposed to think. I think one of the biggest things we can do for ourselves when it comes to politics or our mental health or fitness and all that kind of stuff is stop listening to everybody else. Stop listening to the media telling us the way we're supposed to think. Don't you think if everybody said, okay, I'm going to listen to the media, I want to know the news, but I'm not going to listen to the advertising. I'm not going to listen to the opinion about politicians. I'm going to think for myself totally, and I'm going to do what I want to do.
Well, I think like all things follow the money, the market corrects. So what are we seeing now? People realize, a vast majority of people realize they were lied to by the media, legacy media, for the past 4 years. Right. So what did we see? Nora O'Donnell, she was shown the door at CBS. Right. Jim Acosta shown the door at CNN. Chuck Todd shown the door at NBC. But 4 or 5 years ago, these were well-respected journalists, and it turns out that.
But you're getting off the politics, you sick bugger. But my point is, though, just in general with life, do what you think you want to do instead of worrying about what everybody else says you're supposed to do, what the government says you're supposed to do. I tell you, if we could ever get to the point, and I don't know if it's even possible, you almost have to have a civil war or whatever, but get to the point where we said, listen, politicians, we don't work for you. You work for us. Right. Let's get rid of this. But it, again, never happened because the money's got such a hold on
it's too ingrained.
Yeah. It's just like get rid of campaign financing and all that kinds of stuff, special interest groups.
I mean, just look at what's going on now. They're trying to cut money. They're trying to find wasteful money in the budget. And everybody's upset about it.
Oh, I know.
Should be happy they're doing that.
Yeah.
Because people think it's government money. No, it's not government money.
It's a great point. Well, yeah. And then how many times do you think, like, there's talking about, and it's always billions of dollars. You know what? We're going to spend billions of dollars over here. We're going to spend okay. It's like if you took all the billions of dollars, didn't spend it, I don't know, this, it took care of people.
Look at, I mean, regardless what you think about RFK, he's a little bit nutty. I'll give you that. Yeah. But the vitriol, the anger at him, because he's trying to clean up the food.
Yeah, I know. Well, he hasn't done himself any favors with the
No,
way.
he's
Yeah.
got a lot of bad
Right,
history.
but if they can see that thing, they're hung up on the stuff he's done in the past. They're just saying, "What's his message now?"
Yeah.
And he's clearly saying in his message, "Listen, if you want to eat McDonald's,
Go
go
ahead.
eat McDonald's. I think you just need to be educated on what McDonald's does for you." Which, yeah, that's
also you got to remove. There's so many additives, and
right.
like we were talking before we got on the air about that food additive that actually gets you addicted to the taste of it.
Right.
They were actually changing the biology of your mouth
Right.
almost.
But see, there's another thing. I'm glad you brought that up, and you're totally correct. Like just purely from a health standpoint, people that are educated about health say, "Listen, get rid of it." Now, here's my other point, though. Okay, so if we want to now outlaw that, where does it end? Where the government can now determine what's in our foods, whatever we do, instead of educating people to say, "Listen, you buy what you want," and then if people are educated and stop buying those products that have those things in the food. We don't have to have our government telling us what to do. We're determining what's happening because we just not going to buy those products.
Well, I think the initial thought is they're going to protect you from people lying to you, saying this is a pure product and is loaded with chemicals. What's happened, again, it's always money. Look at the FDA, all right? Now, when you go to the GNC or the vitamin shop and you go to the supplement area, you'll see that they all say that this is not, whatever claim they're making, they'll say it's not approved by the FDA. And there's no regulation. So if you're say you're buying creatine monohydrate, or better yet, you're getting vitamin C, and it says there's 250 milligrams of vitamin C or micrograms of vitamin C in this pill. Is it 250? Is it 50? There's no regulation, and that is because.
But even with regulation, though,
let me just follow up on it. That law was written back in the 90s by Harry Reid, who was a very controversial senator out of Nevada, Utah in particular, where all the supplement companies resided.
Yeah.
You see how that connects? So there's so now I could fill this bottle up with horse piss and tell you it's going to make your test level raise 120 points in a day, as long as I have that.
Like even the whole organic thing. Like I see organic food from China. Well, that means nothing. You can't. The government has no say over what they do in China. So if you're getting, and even, I don't even believe in the whole organic food here in the U.S. Like, and again, as we've discussed and I researched, the USDA does not govern or does not go in and test the farms we're supposed to. They give licenses to about 70 companies who go into the farms to make sure that it's organic. And then who pays those companies? Well, the farmer pays the companies. So if he wants to get his stamp of approval, well, I'll just slide you a little bit under the table here and I get my stamp of approval. It doesn't mean that it's organic. It means that.
Right. Well, if you look at the FDA, look at the FDA and you'll see they all came, the people that sit on the highest levels of the Food and Drug Administration came from the food and drug industry.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I know, but it's all.
I mean, some would say, well, I have to because that's the.
So here's a good example of our girl Susan. She hits it. No matter how negative I hear about Chris Stewart and the Rangers, my feelings for them will never change. See, that's the way.
No, that's cool. Well,
that's the way we need to think about everything, though. We say, listen, I'll make up my own mind. I don't need you telling me like Hochul there, the painted lady up in Albany. I don't need her telling me about like if I don't want to go. Like they're saying, okay, the crime isn't that bad in the subways. Well. The people in the subways go line up against the wall now because they don't want to stand near the tracks, get pushed onto the track now. So
this is a woman who flies a private jet from Albany.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. God. Yeah.
No, Susan's right. I mean, look, I think we're a little bit critical of Drury because we see some things that would question. Doesn't make us right.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I agree. Yes. So I'm on my. People stop listening to everybody else and don't listen to me even. Like do what you want to do. Don't do what everybody else. We get so stuck in and I'm guilty too. Like I think I'm just now starting to wake up to the fact that I don't have to listen to everybody else.
Do you remember George Rogers running back? He won a Heisman. George Rogers. He was a Heisman.
I remember the name. Yes. Yep.
At Auburn. So if you want to be an independent thinker, this is the guy. So he shows up for training camp, first year at Auburn, right?
Right.
And there's a testing day. I don't know, you got a bench, you got a squat, and then they make you run a mile in less than 12 minutes or something like that.
Right.
And he walks off the field, and one of the assistant coaches goes, "Hey, man, where you going?" He goes, "What do you mean?" Because you got to run a mile. He said, "Oh, when it's third down in a mile, put someone else in." It kind of drives home the point. You know what I mean?
That's true. I think we talked about this. Phil Kessel,
Oh, yeah.
he's a legend amongst his teammates because he just did whatever he wanted to do. He would yell at the coaches, "I'm not getting on that scale."
Well, you know, in the training camp, it's standard in the NHL. I don't really think it's an indicator, but 195-pound bench press for reps.
Oh, yeah.
I wasn't there, but Johnny McLean was telling me that Gretz would come in, lay down on the bench, touch the bar, go, "I'm done."
Who had Gretz?
Yeah.
Oh,
Somehow he made the team, though. I don't know how that happened.
Yeah, I know. Oh, I played with Gretz, and I have total admiration for him. He had a heart the size of a house.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he would eat cheeseburgers. And it wasn't like every night. I don't want to paint that picture. But sometimes, occasionally, he'd be hungry before he'd go out for warm up. He'd be hungry before the game, so he'd have a cheeseburger. So it's like,
Well, you remember Wade Boggs? I think his pregame meal always, and don't forget they play 100,000 games a year, was fried chicken for every game. Wade Boggs, and he had a pretty good career.
Yeah, I know. It's like we get so hung up. That's the thing. It's social media. So we talk about this too, where like everybody's like, here's the number one thing you've got to do to change your life around.
They're all selling themselves or a product.
He got a bona fide game changer without giving up major S's. Oh, I'm in Perot.
Yeah, the Perot looks like he could be a real special player.
Yeah. How about the hit Cooley had last night on smoked?
But I don't like the fact that you got to fight now.
I know.
And he knew it too, which is like I just don't understand. He knew it.
We've talked about it before. I think that's the stupidest thing. I don't know why coaches don't say to the players, "Listen, do not do that. If you want to get back at the player, yap at him all game long, and then finally at the end of the game or whatever, you have a chance to beat him up then if you want." But yeah,
it's almost like when I would coach little kids, and I go, "Listen, don't lay on the ice unless you're really hurt."
Oh, I know.
Because you're freaking your parents out.
Yeah.
It's sad you got to tell that to an NHL player.
I know. Yeah. Things have changed. Things have definitely changed. Yeah. Who was somebody's having? There's a guy from Minnesota that was ramming some guys' heads into the ice.
Ryan Hartman.
Hartman, yeah.
Did you see what he did? He pile drive that guy's face into the ice.
And I guess he'd done something to a guy against Winnipeg at a face-off.
Face-off. He just came up with a stick. I mean, clear. It's clear.
It was the old school kind of hockey. It was a Bobby Clark kind of move, but like it was like so obvious. He just like reefed the guy.
You got to hide it a little bit.
Yeah. Oh God.
But so he tried to get Hamonic to go last night. Hamonic was like, "No, we're winning 3-0. Why do I have to fight you?"
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, that's right. Yes, I saw that. Yeah.
And and I don't even know much about that kid. Is he a fighter or is he?
You know what? That's the first time I've heard of him doing all that stuff. Yeah. Hamonic had the porn star mustache going on there too.
He did. He had the Austin Matthews. Porn star.
Austin Matthews. I got it. He needs to have somebody get to him and say, "Listen, you're a man.
Yeah.
You need to speak like a man." Like he's like, I don't know how to describe it. You know, but I guess that hockey code's kind of gone. Yeah.
Different times.
Yes.
Different players.
Very, very different. Yeah. Well, you know, and they're naming as captain for the what is the upcoming tournament they've got going on? The
Four Nations.
Four Nations. Are you excited about the Four Nations?
Not really.
I know. Does anybody? Actually, I saw Elliot Friedman was on. And he said nobody's buying tickets. It's just not.
I wonder what the players think about it. Like, why am I doing this?
I know. It supposedly is supposed to generate more revenue for the going towards the cap. See what the cap's going up like too,
50-50.
Yeah. Well, it's always been 50-50.
I mean, no.
No, it's going up. The numbers are going up. The cap. It's going
Cap's going up. But isn't it something changed to 50?
The escrow part.
The escrow, yeah.
So the escrow has long been a problem for the players because they, you can sign like a $10 million contract, but they'll set the escrow. The escrow is to protect that the actual revenues generated become a 50-50 split between the players and the owners. So if they, at the start of the year, they really don't know for sure where the revenue is going to be. So they take out a certain percentage of money out of your contract, put it in escrow. Then depending on whether the revenues are, they either return some of it or keep it to make it a 50-50 split. So I guess they've gotten rid of it now or limited to the amount.
Yeah, I don't know. Something did change, but
yeah. Let me see here. How about no one on Buffalo going after North New Jersey after leaving the franchise? Yeah, I know that's Buffalo's that kind of team where they got a bunch of like college kind of players there, and they didn't do anything.
It's an overage league, overage junior team.
Yeah, So I'm gonna pick. I was gonna be something smart ass with Brian. I can't do it. It's called the Four Nations Cup, Brian. So you can only have 4 nations. That's terrible, though. But I
mean, it's obvious why they left them out because of Ukraine.
Yeah, with all that stuff going on, yeah, it's an easy. Good point. So that's an easy reason why to say they limit it to 4 nations because then they don't have to really address the Russian thing. They just leave them out of it. Good point.
I didn't know D'Angelo was playing over there. That kid, I mean, really, you went over to Russia to play? I mean, you got to make money, I guess.
But he's back. He scored the game winner.
Back.
He scored the game winner in overtime. Yeah.
Yeah, against the Islanders. But you know what I'm saying? Like, if I was like, I said, you probably don't want to go there right now and play hockey. You know.
Well, but you've been there, like St. Petersburg. It's like a big city.
But it's just you just wonder because Putin's a little unhinged. Like, you know.
Yeah, I don't know.
If you get drunk and you do something stupid, you end up in prison.
Yeah. Bruce Levin injuries. Listen, I'm with you. See, I don't think the NHL should be in the Olympics. I don't like these things in the middle of the season. If I'm a player and let's say I don't go over, one of my star players, my teammates go over and gets hurt in one of these tournaments, I go on, okay, you play for my team. Like, what are you doing? Doing that.
So here's the question. Is it because no one cares about the All-Star game and they're trying to rev up something that's going to keep interest? I like your point. Why is this now? Just let the season play out. If you want to, because I don't know.
I know they keep coming back to. Apparently, the players now, the star players, want to play in these tournaments. I think the theory is that it potentially boosts their marketing ability.
Marketing, yeah.
But I don't. It's not basketball, right? It's
so they had the last World Cup was what, like a couple 6 years ago. Who won? I couldn't tell you who won. And
really, like the star players that go over there are already star players. Like their marketing doesn't get a boost from that because they're already star players. So like Connor McDavid isn't going to go playing that thing and all of a sudden now he's more of a named player. He's Connor McDavid, right?
So I was really fortunate. I got to go over to Europe, 2004 World Cup, and work with Chris King. Who was the guy that coached LA? Murphy, what's his name? Mike Murphy.
Mike Murphy, yeah, Murphy, yeah.
And also guy you played with, Greg Mullen.
Yeah.
And they sent us over just to kind of, because there was NHL rules. So they had 4 teams there, Czech, Finland, Sweden, Germany. And then Finland ended up winning the quarterfinals and they flew over here and they played. Because here was USA, Russia, Canada, and I think Slovakia. But I'll tell you this much. If you want to see a rivalry, go to a Sweden-Finland game.
Oh.
It's off the hook. They do not, like they hate each other.
Oh, okay.
Bad. Real bad. Yeah.
That's funny. Yeah, those guys are competitive guys. Like the Swedes, and that was the reputation when I first came over. They were kind of soft, but they're competitive players. They're competitive people. Like they want to.
Those 2 teams, Sweden in particular, were loaded. I mean, they had Peter Forsberg and Lidstrom and
they're good. Yeah, the Finns are a small country. They don't have a lot of people to draw from, but they have some
hockey players.
Oh man, they're gritty guys too. Ray Ruotsalainen, one of my all-time favorite teammates. Rayo Ruotsalainen.
Yeah. Where's Tikkanen from?
He's a Finn.
Finn, that's right. Yeah.
One of the funniest scenes, I'm with LA, we're playing a playoff series against the Kings or against Edmonton. And he starts yapping. I can't remember who was behind him. It might have been McTavish. I think it might have been Craig McTavish. So Tikkanen starts yapping at me. And I swear to God, you can't understand a word he's saying. McTavish looks at me. It must have been the look on my face because I'm looking at him like, what? And he goes, we can't understand him either. It's really funny the way he said it.
That's great.
Oh, yeah, that's good. Yeah, that's good. All right, brother, you got your you got your 12 o'clock call coming.
Yeah.
Okay, good. All right, we'll get going here. Everybody have a fantastic. We got to make sure we kind of slipping on this a little bit. The whole 988 hotline, making sure we're taking care of everybody. And again, we're planning on this. If anybody wants to help out at all, we've got some great ideas. We're planning on
October.
We're going to put on an event for Mark Pavich's Teammates for Life Ranch. It's going to be here in New York in October at some point. So we're always looking for great ideas, venues, people that want to help manage the whole bit, money, all that kind of stuff. So get going on that as well. So be cool.
Sounds good, man.
All right, brother. Have a great week.
You too.